Welcome into the Friendship Podcast episode. I actually think this is episode 420. Just a
nice.
Shout out to you, Shooty.
Yeah, so actually should have had Drake bring us in, but tonight we sit down with a guy that we should have had on the show a long time ago. I don't know what it took us so long to get here, but we're here. He's the first real shot at an Iowa kicker to stick in the NFL since the man Nate Kading, which is bullshit. We'll get into that. And an incredible teammate, incredible friend, got to play with him for several years. Fellow walk-on and current Tennessee Titan, Caleb Shudak, joins the show. My guy.
Damn, I am excited to be here.
Dude.
We're excited to have you, man.
Yeah. How we took a little trip home together a couple weeks ago.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. 2 hours home from Iowa City after a little Keith Duncan kicking camp. And I was like, we have to get you on the podcast. And Caleb said, all right, give me a couple weeks. Going back down to Nashville, place that Drake is familiar with. Spends half of his time there. At least he has the past few years.
Hell yeah.
And Caleb said, dude, I'll have all the time in the world once we're back in OTAs and stuff like that. Just hit me up. And so here we are. Caleb, you have honestly a fucking incredible story of
resilience
and perseverance, not just the past couple years hanging around the NFL, but more so your time at Iowa. And we only got to be a part of it for, gosh, when did you come in?
16.
Yeah, so we got 18 months together, not even.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It feels like a lot more.
It does.
Surprises me quite a bit that it was only 18 months.
Right? It's
I
so
thought
crazy.
I would have said like 3 years at least.
Yeah, well, I would have said 3 years.
But realistically, you came in 16 fall. 12 months later, we were entering our senior season, and then it took another 4 months. We got
That's
16
true.
months together.
That's true.
Maybe better for you than that I was not the head of the specialist room for any longer. I would have had a bad influence, I'm sure.
I don't know, man. I mean, we had a great time with you there. You pretty much ran the show. I mean, let's not forget we didn't have a coach when I got there. It was
that is fact.
Strictly just Kluver running the show. So
do you ever think about that? How wild that is?
I like looking back, I can't even fathom that. Like, no wonder we played ping pong and pool and met for 20 minutes before meetings, and then I mean, I'm telling you, Keith and I were world-class ping pong players. Kluve could have beat anybody on the team in pool, but hey, we got our practice in. We made kicks. I think that's what was important.
That's what's important. You guys did make kicks. Made a lot of kicks over the years that we played on the squad.
Once we got to 2015 and beyond, we made kicks. We made some fucking kicks around that place.
Absolutely. So I mean, people can complain all they want, but we did the job. We did our job.
Yeah, and there was a lot of complainers. You're right. There was a few people who complained.
Hey, we pushed the same prowlers. We ran the same quarters. We just didn't meet for as long.
Did you ever think that was bullshit?
I mean, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm the same guy that fainted doing prowlers my freshman year. So that was.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me about that. I didn't know that.
Oh, that was a Friday.
Preface this: you're not the only one who's bit the dust their freshman year to prowlers.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I didn't know I was getting into. That was the Friday, like before game day. The freshmen that were redshirting. We did our
the first week of.
It was I got to the week 3 before.
Okay, so you
collapsed. Yeah, because we built up like 4, 6, 8 reps.
Yeah.
This was before we did 10 yards. It was like halfway across the field, and then after every year we struggled down.
Was it on a Friday? Did you say that? It was on a Friday morning after our walkthrough? Man, I remember going in from those walkthroughs and watching the freshmen go to the prowlers and truly feeling one of like the greatest, fullest gratitudes of all time that I was not y'all.
Facts.
I remember
facts.
I would get more scared and nervous for that than kicking balls in practice. I was just like, oh my gosh, Doyle's gonna get on me. I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like physically every time it took every ounce of energy and strength I had to finish. And they're just waiting for it to happen. And finally week 3, like the 5th rep of prowlers, didn't even get to the sandbags, didn't get to kettlebells. I just I wake up in the training room and I don't know where I was.
You legit went out.
Like I was like out cold. Like I had like was apparently talking between the prowler and the training room, but they were just dragging me. I don't remember any of that. Like I like come to it and I'm like sitting there like an ice pack on my shoulder. I was like,
hey, we got a dead one. Somebody grab the stretcher.
Dude, what a story.
Oh my God. I fear prowlers.
Was it your class or was it Keith's class? And obviously you wouldn't remember that. Every single guy puked on one day. Everybody.
I came in with Keith. We're the same class. I did 6 years.
Fuck, you did.
5.
Yeah, you're right.
That was. I remember that.
So
that was like
you guys had
back in summer training or something like.
How many guys did you have in your class total?
Like finish or come in?
Come in, scholarship, and walk on combined.
Oh, I mean, we had like in the upper 30s. I think we had a ton come in.
We had 37. So
yeah, so I think we had 38 or 36.
Okay, so
maybe
out of 38 guys, I think we counted that day, and 31 of the 38 guys were in the trash can after that session.
Yes, you're not.
Oh, God.
It was bad. Like, we got back thinking like, oh, we're athletes. Oh, dude.
No. I remember similar to how Drake just said it. The feeling of gratitude of I'm not part of this group that just went to absolute war. It looked like a bloodbath, like a murder scene in the locker room after a couple of those days. And I don't know if you know this, but our class did not have to do those Friday workouts.
I thought
y'all never had Sunday Devo either.
That's true. I remember hearing about that.
I mean, Sunday Devo for a kicker is just kicking more footballs.
Yeah.
But Sunday Devo for a walk-on linebacker who's trying to make it is a tough day.
I could not imagine.
I don't even know how you guys were expected to after hours, 2 hours. Well, no. How much did we practice on a Sunday? We went through a walkthrough.
Sundays, that was at least an hour.
And then you guys went through
like at least an hour of developmental.
Did you guys like lift and stuff beforehand? Like, when we were there, it was just Sunday? A lift or run, and then would you guys go to Devo after that?
Oh
yes.
Yeah. Oh, because it was set up a little bit different, I believe.
Because that was a day. It was like an 85 or 90% squat, pretty much every week. Like it was just guaranteed. And
man, it was so heavy. I don't know why they were going so heavy on the young guys during the season. It was crazy.
Because it wasn't a season for us, dude. It was a growing period.
Yeah, you're right. Like you're trying to put on 20 pounds of muscle. I mean,
I do think, I don't know if they would agree with this, but I do think that a little bit of that was like a weeding out process too. It's like, hey, this is like in all the ways that make any sort of sense, we're going to challenge this freshman class to see who can handle a school workload and become a Division I football athlete and then manage their social life as well and be a good citizen. And pretty quickly you start to see guys like, oh, this guy, he's pretty good. He's at least not being an asshole. And very quickly you start to see some guys go the other way as well. Man, is that the thing you remember most? Like the freshman Fridays about freshman year? What else do you remember about your transition into college? You're from Council Bluffs, aren't you?
Yeah, Council Bluffs.
Okay.
Went to Lewis Central.
It's kind of a tough place to be from, dude. Council Bluffs.
Gritty as hell.
Railroad town.
To say the least, yeah. There's some other words you could throw out there, but they're not like media appropriate.
Max Duggan.
Dog.
You played with him.
Yeah, he was my quarterback. He was a freshman my senior year.
Okay.
All I remember is he threw like 18 touchdowns to one pick. The pick was in the quarters against Dowling. I was like, this kid's good. So
you guys played
dog.
Lewis Central played Dowling?
We were 4A my last 2 years. Yeah. And so
so you played. Did you play Boyle at all?
Yeah, he would have been. We played him my junior year.
Okay. Because we just had him on too.
Yeah. Dog.
Wow. So because now you guys, I follow it. Dog.
I will say he was my only sack in high school. So
you sacked Boyle?
I sacked Boyle one time. I wish I had the film to prove it, but I will live and die by that.
Where were you coming from that you got a sack? Corner?
I was a linebacker in high school. You guys didn't know that? I played linebacker for 3 years.
Wow.
Buddy, you're 5'8".
I mean, I was 5'8", 190, playing linebacker.
Decent, dude. I was
5'8's generous. I'm like, the combine had me at 5'6.5". So
I was gonna say you're 5'8" in the program.
But yeah, I know. Ooh. Ooh, yeah.
I was 6 foot in the program my freshman year.
Oh God, I'm jealous.
5'6.5", 190. That's kind of a stout.
That's a stout little bastard.
I was girthy, man.
Did you have
I was 6 foot 185.
I think I was playing linebacker my sophomore year. I was like 170, and I got, they teach you put your head in front of the man. They can't run through your head. I quickly realized like
that they
did that like my first game, and somebody I think we were playing like Sioux City East, and the dude just went through my head. Helmet came out. I was like, well, I gotta get bigger. I gotta learn to tackle with my head. So
did you play outside?
I played inside for a little bit. Then I moved outside, and then my last senior year played a little bit like nickel, I guess. Like moved back for cover 3, cover 4. Otherwise, we play inside.
And Duncan started as a freshman your senior year.
Yeah,
and was a dog.
Absolute dog. He probably had like 7 rushing touchdowns too.
Shooty, you being a 3-year starting linebacker honestly has the back of my brain spilling out down my neck, dude. Yeah. What is happening?
Yeah. And you guys were good. You just said you played them in the quarters or the semis?
Quarters. We'd always lose to like them or like Sioux City East in like the quarters.
So you didn't make it to the dome?
No, I never did. Damn.
Oh, that's tough.
But when we did play them, it was like close for like maybe like 10 minutes and then, Dowling.
Yeah.
Just being Dowling.
Like 40, well, I don't follow Lewis Central, but I follow what is now, is it 3A or did they create 5A and now Lewis Central is 4?
Yeah. So we're still 4A. They created 5A.
Okay. Because my uncle is the head coach of Indianola, and Indianola, also 4A, played Carroll, Pella, Lewis Central, all the, so, I would follow his record a little bit in the fall every year. And Lewis Central has been good the last couple of years. Really good.
They've been producing some players. I mean, you got guys at, I hate to say it, Nebraska, Iowa State, Iowa.
They're putting some guys in the
a little bit everywhere.
It's mainly Caleb Shudak.
Hey, I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
When did you start kicking?
I think I started learning like 6th or 7th grade because playing youth football you get like 2 points for a PAT instead of because nobody can kick. My dad kicked in college, so he's like, you gotta learn how to do it. We can score more points that way. It's easy.
Jeff Shudak,
dog, absolute legend.
Jeff Shudak. My dad used to talk about him when you first came in.
They lived together for a little bit.
They did. I believe our fathers lived together for a semester.
How the world comes full circle.
It's crazy. Yep. I remember my dad's first conversation with me during camp 2016. He calls me. He's like, "Hey, Tyler? Does he have big calves like his dad?" Never thought about it. Walked in, fucking huge calves. I was like, "Dad, he does." I was like, such a weird thing to remember, but I remember seeing that and hearing that. I was like, wow,
dude, world beater calves.
You can't train those.
No. When you talk about genetics, I was given one thing, a huge cock, and then the second thing I was given was big calves. Did I set that up? It was decent. No. Todd, for anybody who knows Todd, guy's got redwood calves. He's built different, and I was blessed with those. Neither of my brothers have them, and it's fucking hilarious that was the first thing your dad said to you was, does he have calves like his dad? That's so funny.
My dad's I remember his calves would just fill out his socks. They would just come out of his socks, and I'm like, that's just a weird thing to notice. I never thought about it. And the next day I walked in, looked at you, and I was like, I can see what they mean now.
Yeah. That's funny as fuck. Your dad was a dog though. He's a good kicker.
Yeah, he's the all-time leading scorer there until 16 or 17 or something when I think it was Netton or somebody there.
Yeah. I wonder if
Wait, what are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
He played for Iowa State.
My dad played Iowa State. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because you're talking about Kluver's dad. Kluver's dad played At Iowa.
For a couple years at Iowa, and then transferred to Iowa State to be with my mom.
Interesting.
And then at that point I don't know how my dad moved in, because he never was on the team at Iowa State, so I don't know how he would have got.
They must have
known. He probably knew a couple guys from high school that were on the team still, and just like moved in with them because he knew them. And then
I need to get that full story.
Yeah, we probably should get the backstory on that.
That's cool though.
That's a
cool story.
So I wonder if your dad had it in his mind all along, like, my little man's going to be a D1 kicker, you know?
I don't think so.
Did you play soccer?
No, I didn't play soccer. I played soccer like 7th grade, and I was like, Dad, I don't like running this much. Like, I don't
vibes.
Yo, it's a lot of running.
It was. Like, the fields got so big. I was like, this is bigger than a football field, and you're running for like an hour and a half. I'm like, this is just not for me.
Dude, and you definitely would not have been 190 if you were playing soccer.
Oh, no, I probably. I mean, so I was 190 during football. I'd swim in the winter. So by state swimming in March, I was like, late February, I'd get down to like 145.
Talk to me, Shooty.
Drake was a swimmer.
Dude, I was an age group swimmer, and then I quit for 3 years.
Muscatine, right?
Yeah, came back for my senior year, and that would have been probably your freshman year.
2012. What did you graduate? 13?
Graduated in 2013, so it was like the winter of 2012.
Yeah, that'd been my freshman year.
Your freshman year, yeah.
Yeah, I podiumed that year.
Dude, okay. So, do you remember the 200 freestyle relay where we both broke the state record and we got out touched? Do you remember that race? That was an all-time Iowa State swimming fucking race.
Dude,
and
that was
the kid got bad beat in it.
That's funny as hell.
Bro, I was second. I should have been fourth, because fourth should have been first, because Josh Gill. Bringing up painful memories, dude.
Drake's hurt. So you swam. What race?
This is awesome.
Yeah.
What did you podium in? Like the 500?
The 100 back.
What? You're 5'6", dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I podiumed like I think 3 years. Every year except my junior year.
What a dog.
Dude, you're an absolute stud.
I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't swim like butterfly. I couldn't. Freestyle was okay.
I got 8th in the 50. That's the best I did.
That's crazy.
Damn. I see it. I wouldn't. That's faster than I would ever swim.
So I find it so fascinating, some of these like random facts that you'll pull out of guys like this right now.
Wow. I'm hyped now.
Like
Shooty the swimmer?
Yeah. Athletes are athletes in a lot of the things that they do. Like, dude is not built to swim. He don't look like Michael Phelps. He's a kicker. He ends up being a kicker now in the NFL. But you look back a few years, and the guy's on the state podium of the high school swim meet. Like, it just
tennis too. I played all the weird sports.
Were you a dog in tennis?
I got like 7th or 8th place my freshman, junior year, or sophomore year.
Let's go.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not gonna lie. You look like a tennis player. Like,
you do.
Right now, looking at you, I'd be like, yeah, he for sure plays tennis.
See, I have more recruitment in tennis than any other sport, but I didn't like.
Really?
It was like, those like private, like smaller private schools. I don't want to do this. Like, I hate it. The rackets, like, it was like Walmart cost, but my mom and dad are paying $200 for racket. I'm just, yeah.
You were smashing it.
So what I'm finding out is that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I said here and there. I mean, I'd probably it's probably 2 rackets a year for a couple of years there.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I used to break about 3 or 4 golf clubs a year.
Still does.
No, I haven't broke a golf club in a long time.
Yeah, because they've gotten more expensive.
And I've just gotten cheaper.
Yeah, facts. You know who I think you look like? Other than you do look like a tennis player, is I have always thought, since I learned who John Rahm was, I think that you look a little bit like John Rahm.
Now that you say it, you do look like John Rahm.
I get that from my entire family. My dad's side is all like, hey, dude, you're playing the PGA Tour right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You just won the Masters, bro.
Yeah. At least he's a dog. Like, I mean,
he wins.
Big dog.
And he makes money. I mean, he's got what, $15 million on the year?
Bro. Dude, I actually looked up the other day because I got really curious. Like career earnings for a bunch of like just random dudes. If you're on the tour, You're
Not
making
doing too shabby, huh?
You're making cash. Oh
What's it
my
like?
God.
50 grand minimum if you make the cut or something like that.
I think at the Masters, the bottom guy got paid like 120 G's
Ugh.
if you made the cut, of course.
And you're good at golf too. I mean,
dude, do you golf?
I golf. I dabble. Yes.
You do golf, and you're good at golf. Actually, I know that.
Yes. I would
Yes.
say I'm a very above average golfer. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it, bro. You're an absolute multi-sport athlete. Just playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go play baseball or I'm not gonna go play basketball or.
Basketball certainly not going to be your sport.
No, I quit whenever he started growing, and I didn't grow. I was like, you know what, Mom, this isn't for me. I'm willing to give this up.
I'm getting stuffed every time I put up a shot. It's time to hang up the shoes.
Yeah, when pretty much everybody was like, above my I was at their chin. I go, yeah, it's probably not for me anymore. That was like fourth grade.
When did you get the first interest recruiting wise on the kicking front? Tell me you're drinking a Core Power 42 right now. No,
it's a Fairlife 30 grams. I don't have any Core 42.
Fairlife,
dude. Absolutely, I live by these things. But the recruiting trail didn't really happen until, gosh, what year was that? That had been my junior year against Dallas. I think I made like a 53-yard field goal in the game, and then it took off. Like, I got calls from Iowa State, Iowa, Minnesota, Oklahoma State, Nebraska, all within like a week. And like I hadn't really like done much like showcasing for kicking wise. So I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I thought I wanted to play baseball in college.
You still didn't know that kicking was the route you wanted, or that you would end up taking in your junior year.
Yeah, like it wasn't until my that summer before my senior year where I decided, you know what, like baseball is not going anywhere, not really getting any interest. Maybe I should just try the small thing. So I did like those camps, specialist camps. I went to like Iowa's camp, Iowa State, Minnesota, Nebraska's. So
I went to Nebraska's special teams camp as well. They singled me and another guy out, and it was down to us, and I outsnapped the shit out of him, and they gave the other kid a scholarship.
That's tough.
Want to know how that turned out?
Probably for the best.
That turned out like this. He did start right away. He was too fat for his own body, ended up having back issues and career-ending surgery. And they had to find a new guy.
Are you fat shaming this kid right now, Kluwer?
I'm just telling you how his path turned out.
He might watch this podcast. And
his name's Gabe Miller. And you know what? I'm not fat shaming him because he actually, once he had the back surgery, he turned his whole health life around. He was like not good overweight. And once he had the back surgery and his career was over, he actually turned like completely vegan, started like his own cooking Instagram page, and like got wildly small. Like he probably is 6 feet tall. And I would say he went from close to 270 or 280 all the way down to 170.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy turnaround.
That's incredible.
But I should have got that scholarship. So actually, if it's crazy how things go, because if Nebraska offers me instead of him, I'm probably taking that money, and I'm a Husker. Like
I know. And then we're not here right now, man.
We're not here.
Life's crazy. I mean, I would.
And Drake would have had it. Yeah, we would have never been friends, and Drake would have had a different roommate freshman year. The entire earth is just turning different at that point. So you start to get a little bit of it. It's crazy that your story is like that, because I think Miguel's story was like that too. He hits a 50-yarder, like a 55-yarder, and then all of a sudden he gets calls like the next week. I swear every kicker I know, and I know a lot of them because we were in the game. We're specialists. It's like they hit a big kick, the next week their like recruiting takes off or starts at all. And so who contacted you from Iowa?
I think Coach Morgan did.
I should have asked the question.
It's such a rhetorical question at this point.
I shouldn't ask.
I don't think
every single guy we bring every single guy I bring on here says, yeah, I think it was Reese Morgan. I think it was Coach Morgan.
I'm sure he came to my high school a couple weeks later and like kind of took off from there.
Of course he did. And he didn't need directions to get there.
Yeah.
So you get interest. How much actual interest was there? Did you have any lick or sniff of a scholarship, or was it going to be a walk-on at all the schools that were reaching out?
I was thinking like Iowa State was probably the only school. So Nebraska was recruiting me. They fired Pelini. That went out the window real quick.
Tough move for them, by the way.
Yeah, Minnesota. I went up there, balled out at their camp. Like I
Jerry
pissed
Kill.
off. Yeah, he gets fired that same year, or he steps down. He doesn't get fired. So then their special teams guy that was recruiting me leaves, like takes the year off, and then Iowa State. I had my official visit scheduled on a Monday, and I'm pretty sure that Friday they fired
Rhodes.
And so then I get a call like 2 weeks later, like, hey, like we know you're on his recruiting list. You can come walk on if you want, or come to our walk on day. And because I hadn't heard from him, I had called everybody in the office. I was like, hey, like I'm like my dad went here. I grew up watching Iowa State. I was like, come on, like I was every day calling somebody. Like as soon as they hired somebody, I called this person. I was like, dude, like can I come? Like I just want to walk on, please. Didn't hear from them for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I was like, this ain't gonna work. They called me. They don't know who I was. Like I feel like my dad played Iowa State. Like he all telling me to score. I was like, I want to go here, and didn't hear from him. He said, hey, you can come. We can't guarantee you anything. And Coach Morgan was like, hey, you can come walk on at Iowa. Like we want you here. So then it turned out to be Iowa or Iowa Western Junior College. And that's in my hometown.
This is a Reaver podcast.
And this in my hometown, I did not want to stay in Council Bluffs. I was like, you know what? It's time to start. What can happen? I get cut. Oh man, it is what it is.
So so you decide to take the 4-hour trip east to Iowa City.
Yep, and then that was a journey in itself.
The fact that the way you just described that, I'm looking at Drake's face as you tell the story too. That just adds to your story of perseverance. As like every college.
I've never heard such a bad beat story in my life.
Talk
bang,
about
bang,
tough,
bang. The team just clips the whole staff.
I'm everybody thinking, like I might have a scholarship offer in the bag. Like I have a official visit set up, and then I like look at the news. I'm like, I don't know if it's Twitter or just TV or whatever, but yeah, Pelini's out. Rhodes is out. And I don't hear from anybody.
I think someone found you and was like, hey, let's axe every coach that is interested in this one kicker to make your life hell. That's what it sounds like. So you get to Iowa City in 2016, but wait.
Oh, they're bringing
the story doesn't end there. We're scholarshiping a guy out of North Carolina in the same class. Or no, Keith walked on, didn't he?
We both walked on, and
he got a scholarship so early that I feel like he was always a scholarship guy.
We got a scholarship at the same time, actually. After 2019.
Really?
Yeah, so because he lost a job to Miguel the next year, and they never put him on scholarship.
You're right.
So then Miguel played for what was that 2 years there?
Miguel had 18-19.
Yeah,
17-19. No,
17-18. Yeah, 17-18, because then Keith and I battled out 19. And that's the season he had, like the Groza, Figure of the Year, all this stuff. And so then they put him on scholarship during the season. I got put on scholarship that following spring.
All right, so let's walk it back. What was the mindset like? I mean, I'm sure I know what you're going to tell me, but you say in your own words, you're coming in and you've got a guy. And this is sort of irregular in the well, I'd say in the quarterback world. They never, no team ever scholarships 2 quarterbacks in the same class. And this is a little different because we're walking on.
Yeah.
But it's rare that Iowa would bring in 2 of the same specialist position in the same year, even though they're walking on, right?
Yeah.
So you and Keith both come in, and I'm sure what you're told is, let's see, that's in 16. So Miguel, it's I'm sure what you were probably told was, hey, it's going to be between you, Miguel, and Keith, and you're all going to be given a fair shot.
That's why I was like, hey, you're going to compete no matter what. It's an open job, and like you're going to go to camp. And I was like, cool. I mean, that's all I can ask for.
And I would say that was, for once, that was actually mostly true. And Miguel kicked his ass off in the spring of 16 before you guys got there. Had a great summer. and then not a great camp.
No, camp was. I just don't think it was good for anybody. I'm pretty sure the coaches were like, "Shit, I mean, who are we gonna play that's like gonna make it inside of like 45?"
I'm not gonna lie, that's how the whole team felt too. It was a tough
bad.
camp. We were watching and we were like, "What the fuck is happening?"
I was the one snapping.
The year before, Marshall made everything.
Marshall was money.
Yeah. Oh, well, I can't wait to get into that conversation too.
Marshall was money. And so Caleb, the from our perspective, Drake and I, on the special teams front, we had just come out of the Coach White era. Coach, you didn't know Coach White.
No, he was there in 16.
Oh, he was there for one more year in 16. So you did know Coach White.
Because he was the running backs coach and our special teams coach.
So we were on our way out of the Coach White era. But 15 was a turnaround point because in 13 and 14, 13 was okay. 14, we were dog shit in special teams. We had Connor Cornprath as our punter. We had a battle back and forth between Mick Ellis and Marshall at kicking, and Marshall hadn't come through yet. He just wasn't there yet, and Mick was inconsistent as well. And to be honest, I was a very run-of-the-mill average snapper in my first year. So we were not looked upon fondly.
No.
And then in 15, we got our shit together. Dylan Kidd came in, actually hit a couple decent balls, provided some consistency compared to the previous year. Marshall was money. We made several big kicks that year, including the kind of the famous one against Pitt at the buzzer.
Good
and my snapping elevated a lot. And then camp comes around in 16, and those 2.5 weeks, it's like, oh no, what is happening?
We had like 5 kickers there. So it's Keith, Mick, Miguel, me. Was Prohl there?
Yeah, Drake and I talked.
I'm pretty sure Prohl was at camp that year because I'm pretty sure like we got there and I'm like, how are we gonna split reps? Because I ended up having like Riley McCarron and Ty McWeegers holding for me, who never held, and that just adds to the fire because like half the balls would be like tilted on the ground, and I'm just like, I mean, I'm bad. First of all, second of all, like holding's not making it any better.
Yeah, that was part of the unfairness in that camp was the other variables outside of the kicker in the unit. And opportunities given were just not the same. And it's an issue that teams all over the place run into because how many live reps do the specialists get, right? You might get 4 or 5 kicks in a period, especially if there's 3 kickers competing.
Yeah. We had 2 groups going on, didn't we?
Right.
Like we had like a group on the right hash, group on the left hash doing like.
And we would like clockwise rotate and hit the same spots just on the different sides of the clock. And we would and first of all, how about a 5-minute field goal session? Like it just doesn't make any sense.
No.
But so you got different holders, different combinations, the snap, the kick, the hold. Miguel starts shitting his pants, and I guess out of all that, when we ran the numbers, Keith was what, like just a couple percentage better?
It had to have been because, like, I mean, I think we were all just so bad, nobody really knew.
And
like,
then
it was like,
and then sort of what we shifted into that year was for a while, Keith had like the short kicks, and Miguel was taking everything past 45.
Yeah, but then I don't know. We just never attempted anything outside. Like we had the chance, but we never.
We didn't have any confidence. So KF basically, when we would have had anything between 45 and 55 yards, was just like, Miguel would take this, but we're not doing it. So Keith got all the kicks and just sort of became the kicker. And he wasn't horrible. He was good.
But like he only had like 11 attempts that year?
I think he had 11 attempts and he was.
But he made the important one, and that's all that fucking matters, boys.
And that's what.
He'd take that to his grave. So
to the grave.
Forever and ever. And when you do something like that, you're the guy until you're not the guy. I mean, that kick sent Drake and a lot of our teammates and Keith downtown that night for a lot of degeneracy.
I think it sent the entire team down there. I didn't even play, but I was there.
Kluver didn't.
I didn't go.
That's tough. I won't make any comment on that.
I was dad, right? Dad had to get his sleep.
I can see that now. I mean, when you're 21 years old.
When I'm actually dad?
Yeah.
No. I was just a lame. What's your mindset like through that first season?
After once I realized just how I thought I was decent and getting to through camp, I go, I am just miles behind. And I realized I quickly realized I was not going to play. Then I was okay, now I have the entire season to get a little stronger, kick a little better, so that when spring ball comes around, I might actually have a chance to look like I know what the fuck I'm doing. So that's why I just kind of did. Kind of just fell off, hit in the corner, kicked when you guys around you guys. When you guys were outside doing period, I'd stay inside, do my work, try to get a little better, figure things out. So that was the first time I really had just kicked. So I mean, I made monumental improvement over 3 months. I went from being to thinking, oh shit, I could actually play D1 in about a 3-month period.
It's a really interesting mindset. A lot of kids these days, would pack it up and say, this is bullshit. I'm not getting a fair shake. I'm better than this guy, even if they're not, right? And it sounds like you were pretty.
I mean, after 2 phone calls.
And here's the thing: from a guy who was very close to you, I don't remember you being. You certainly were clearly not ahead of the other two, but I don't remember you being that far behind. You might have felt like it, but yeah, you took that and just kind of ran with it and was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get better."
Yeah, I mean, I remember calling my mom and dad complaining this fucking sucks. I suck. I shouldn't even be here. And well, you can quit or you can try to get better and actually earn the spot on the team. And I was like, you know what? You're not wrong. I was I got nothing to lose. I have all this. I have the entire season to learn how to kick.
And so that's year 1.
That was year 1. Yeah.
And I think Prol was not
10.
Yeah.
Felt like it, dude. Oh man.
So then. Yeah, dude, it's unreal. We come around to 2017, our senior year.
Yep.
And now the roles reverse somehow. Keith suddenly is like
spring ball. Keith kind of. I don't know what happened.
I think it's similar probably to pitching, where you just get in a funk. And Keith's funk wasn't necessarily bad. He would hit some kicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his percentage and I would say his outward confidence really dipped, which I would love to get him back on because I don't think we talked about that. He probably felt an incredible high after that Michigan game.
Yeah.
And then there just wasn't a lot to back that up. Not really any opportunities. And Miguel, from the depths of hell, put on a show that spring, summer in camp and came back and won that job. He was not going to have his career flushed down the toilet, and he took that thing by the horns. And then, Miguel was really solid for 2 years.
Big shout out to Miggy. He hit a lot of kicks.
And he hit a lot of big ones. He basically, I don't think it was any at the exact, as the time ran out, but late in the game, in the last couple minutes, 2 versus Nebraska, I think.
He hit the game winner against Nebraska as time expired. Because he missed a shorter one that game. It was raining, and then he went back to 41, 42 right hash.
I was there.
Put it through as time expired.
I was there. I remember. Yeah, I remember because that was an 18, and I remember thinking, "Oh, Subi, make sure your hands are dry. Come on, Subi." And they were money. The op was money, and he beat Nebraska.
Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
And maybe I'm wrong, but was there less sort of drama and back and forth during those 2 years once Miguel had won the job?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think the only thing during that time was 2017. I was hurt. I tore my Achilles that offseason.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember. I
really, the whole year was a blur. I spent so much time trying to get healthy and learn how to walk and run before I could kick. Dude, that whole year, I don't even know what happened between Miguel and Keith. I know in spring ball, I was balling out. I went from and I didn't know what I was doing, so I got out there, I could compete and hit a 50-yard field goal in practice. I'm dude, this is great.
And then in not even kicking, but in training,
in a t-shirt game.
And I remember I was not there, but I remember somebody, it might have been Kevin, who isn't here tonight, obviously, but it might have been Kevin who said, dude, Shudak tore his Achilles. I heard it pop like a balloon. Do you remember?
I remember seeing somebody run at me from my left, and I was gonna run straight, and I like looked at him, put my right foot down to run, and I thought somebody kicked me, and the only person near me was Coach Doyle, like 5 or 6 yards away, and I'm like, so I looked around for a ball, and I'm like, all right, like I just like fell, like I don't know what happened, so I like try to stand up, and my foot's like on fire, like my ankle and my foot are just burning. I'm like, man, something's just not right. So I like start feeling around. I feel my left leg. I'm like, all right, that feels normal. Feel my right leg, and like it's just mush. And I'm like, I looked at Coach Doyle. I go, I think I just tore my Achilles. And he's like, I think it was Doug. Doug. I was like, nothing hurt, but I was just like stunned.
Just
like,
shock and adrenaline.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, because like nothing led up to it. Like I wasn't, no pain, no calf pain. Like I was just working out, like,
dude.
Pop.
Oh, that makes me squeamy. Oh, that's in the spring/summer of.
That was
17?
June. That was our second week back in June
of 17.
Workouts. Yeah.
And so for basically the next year, like you said, all the way to that following spring ball, probably is when you were back fully.
Yeah.
You probably had no idea how it was going because you're just in the training room the whole time.
Literally living there, going to the doctors back and forth.
Drake lived that life a little bit.
Yeah, that whole year was just.
Did you also develop a addiction to pain pills?
No, I didn't. I try to avoid the pain pills.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
we're 1 for 2 there.
I did them though so bad for like 2 weeks, and I was like, man, these are great, but I was afraid of that. Like I was like petrified.
Real bad for like 2.5 years.
Purdue Pharma got his ass. So 17 flies by. Miguel's the guy, and was the first time. Were you good that following spring ball then?
No, I was atrocious. Like I had to like completely.
Well, no, I meant like you were healthy though.
I moderately, like I had just started kicking before that. It's like I kind of like doing periods and stuff, but like going through like some aches and pains. Like I was doing like treatment in the training room, probably pretty consistently for 14 months, like up until that fall camp. Like because I was like cleared to run and stuff after about 8, I think, which is right in time for spring ball, and then got through spring ball, did summer. Still needed some because like I'd wake up like stiff or feeling like it's just gonna tear. It just hurt so bad sometimes. So then not until about that camp 2018 where I was like, all right, I'm feeling like myself.
But your kicking at that point was
so bad. Like there were some days like I'm like I could actually like get on my toes. Some days like I have to go on my heel because my ankle would hurt so bad. I couldn't quite lock out my foot because I couldn't pull from my calf sometimes. So I had so much scar tissue in there, I couldn't get like functional movement for so long.
I'm telling you, all of this makes your story so wild.
That year was brutal.
So it's 2018, and where are you at mentally right now? You've got to be in a blender.
I'm sitting here like we get to like camp in 2018. I'm still going through like I have a good day. Next day is like awful. I'm like 0 for 4 or 1 for 4. I'm like I like don't belong here. I'm sitting there talking like the sports psychologist on the team. Like I can't do this. Like I don't even want to be here anymore. I'm like this sucks. I can't even compete with Miguel. Can't compete with Miguel and Keith because I don't feel good. Like this sucks.
Physically, your body just wouldn't let you.
Yeah, so I couldn't have like replicable technique. Like it was just every day was different. I was trying to figure my way around it.
And you're in year 3, and you're like, God damn, like I can't catch a break.
I know. I'm sitting here like paying for school still, paying for housing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, you're paying to do this shit.
Yeah, I'm like school's finally like going well. My first 2 years sucked. Like I didn't know how to take notes. I went to Lewis Central and Council Bluffs.
I still don't know how to take notes.
That was a shit show. But like so I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, I might as well just like commit to getting a job, get my degree, getting a job. Like that's what's going through my head in 2018.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Miguel finished, but the saving grace is, hey, this guy Miguel Big Dick Recinos is going to graduate after this year, and I've got and now I feel, and they're telling me, right, because this is the narrative that they create, because it's always going to, and as a coach, it's what you do. It's like, okay, Miguel's going to graduate. Yeah, Keith kicked in 16, but this is a wide open job. A lot of time has passed since then for both of you, and it's going to be it's going to be one of you two. And so you guys entered the off season. That would have been after you guys played Mississippi State. And then you went into 2019, I think.
That sounds about right. Or yeah, it's because it was New York 2017. Yeah, that sounds right.
So by the time Spring Ball 2019 comes around, you got to be feeling more confident, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but like that season 18, like the end of it, I started realizing, like, yeah, next year's like, it's only two guys it's going to be. It's going to be Keith, there's going to be me.
Yeah, we finally got all these kickers off the roster. Josh Prohl came in.
Gone. Yeah.
Who, by the way, he could smoke it.
Dude, you just remember he just teed up on the ground from like 60? Like no holder, nothing.
No
just
warm up.
Dig it in the ground and just hit him. Yeah. Great dude.
Stupid talented. And if you want to hear more about Josh Prohl, you can go to patreon.com/washedup-walk-ons and hear about some of his other extracurricular
That was
activities.
on Patreon?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Prohl, just absolutely slinging. So what was the competition like in that spring of 19 then? You're looking at, you're staring down your fourth season coming up in the fall, and did you or Keith separate in that spring at all?
I think Keith like had an edge, not like by much though. Like I obviously had the bigger leg, even in like spring ball. Like he might have had like a 3 or 4 percentage points, maybe 5 percentage point difference. Like it was just like, if we had to go based on that, he probably would have played. Like,
yeah, enough to keep it close, but if they're choosing one, it's probably him.
Yeah,
and
like,
then through
he played, 2 years ago. He got the experience, so I'm sitting like,
I know
that was probably
and that's tough. That's tough because in the coaches' minds, they're like, well, this guy has seen the bright lights, right?
Yeah.
Literally.
He's made the kicks.
So in 19, they go with Keith. Ends up being a pretty good decision. Guy had a good year.
Because that camp was, we were both balling out. Like I'm talking like, it was like 90 to 91%. Like it was like if we missed, it was like shocking.
And I remember that because when sometime during that season, LeVar Woods in a press conference, or maybe even in that like first camp press conference, said, we have 2 starting kickers who are like All-Americans right now. And it's a good problem to have, but like, honestly, like it sucks that we can't use them both. Now, you did use them both because Keith, not known as the big leg guy, so you were the kickoff man.
Yep.
And Keith took PAT field goal. And so in some sense, again, you're getting like this carrot every year of something that's like keeping you around, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're on the field. You get to lead the game off sometimes. And it feels good to run out there and actually put foot to ball and like be a part of it.
Like, have something to show for it. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then Keith goes on a historic run, gets snubbed because he's the true
absolute snub.
Worst snub in
100%.
history.
I thought it was like all guaranteed. Like we're all sitting there like, dude, you're gonna be the Groza winner. That's gonna be elite.
And kicks insane and like kind of solidifies himself as like a legend at Iowa. And so again, you're like, well, I'm the kickoff guy, but like Keith is like literally a national headline right now with how he's doing. And was it at this point somewhere around in this season where you put your name in the portal?
Yes, I did that end of the season, like November-ish, I think, that season.
And I don't think a lot of people know this. Like your name was in the transfer portal.
It was like in the transfer portal during like I was playing games
in the season, middle of the season.
Like we had like 3 games left or 2 games left, and I was like still playing with my name in the portal.
Give me the thought process on that.
Oh, it's just like that whole season was just like, it was cool to play. I was just like that. Like I was kind of like the only thing that really kept me going was that. But we didn't find out who was playing that first game until Friday before walkthrough, the day before that first game of the season. Like, we're all like, how I remember was Keith had like one bad practice the Saturday before this. And like, so he's thinking, I'm thinking, it's in the bag. I'm going to be playing.
Yeah.
And like that Friday, Coach was, finally made the decision. He played, and I struggled with that decision for most of the season. I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, I'm going to graduate in the spring. Keith balled out. Like, he just went 29 for 33 or whatever his stats were.
Yeah.
He's made 29 field goals, set the Big Ten record for field goals in a season. I'm like, he's here for another year. What am I going to do? So I started like looking into it a little bit, and I'm like, all right, so I'm going to graduate, but like, I start realizing like applications for grad school, like, I'm looking at like 100, 200, 300 bucks an application. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, KF, like, I don't want to be like a dick, but like, I need to put my name in portal because I don't want to apply for 100 schools and pay $3,000. Like, I just don't want to do that. I don't have that kind of money. I'm a walk on. I don't have any money right now.
So you were thinking, one, the reason to look somewhere else was me and Keith both have a year left at this point, and after the season he just had, they'll fucking riot if Keith is not the kicker next year.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact, like, I'm going to do kickoffs again next year. Like,
right.
Something would have to go seriously wrong for me to kick field goals, like, on Keith's part.
And two, you need someone to come after you if you're going to go play somewhere else, because it's going to be $3,000 for you to just apply at all these other schools.
Yeah. And like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. So, I mean, I'm just like, say like, hey, I want to keep playing, but like, I just need to do this so I can like get an idea if I have any interest.
How much interest did you have?
I had some like pretty interest, like within I want to say a couple weeks. I mean, I had offers from like Temple, Wake Forest, they had Syracuse. Was it Syracuse? No.
At some point,
Florida too. Yeah, Miami.
At some point, I had talked to Keith or Subert, and I had heard that like you had a couple offers, like there was
like, hey, like, you want you to become the guy, and I'm like, all right, like.
So what happened?
So that was like, one of them didn't have the degree I wanted to get.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, so do I want to sacrifice like my future plans? I'm thinking, all right, probably not going to play in the NFL. I need this degree because I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that eliminated one. And the other one was like, it was like, you have a chance to do long field goals and kickoffs, but you probably won't be our short field goal guy. Like, we have a guy, but like, we want you to do our like 45 plus and kickoff, like, for sure. And I was like, that was Wake Forest, I think. And I was like, I kind of want to do it all.
Yeah.
And then, so like, then I started talking to like KF and Coach Woods, and they were like, hey, like, we might have an offer or like a scholarship open this spring, but we can't guarantee anything. And I was like, after like sitting down thinking about it, like, I had already started my master's while I was finishing my undergrad at Iowa. So I was like, I had a head start. I can get that done in a year. If I get a scholarship, great. If not, I'll just, quit, and I'll just
so then this comes back around to the place where you and Keith both get placed on at the same time. Keith, because he just had this insane season. Do you know how lucky you are that they double scholarshiped kicker? Like, dude,
I was
getting a scholarship as an Iowa specialist is fucking hard to do, man.
It was huge, and I was like, oh man, like, that's legit. Like, all right,
another carrot.
I'll sacrifice playing time, like maybe a future in the NFL, to just get my master's paid for, finish my degree. Like, because I ended up getting a scholarship. Like, I found out like a couple days later before the semester started, hey, we have one, it's yours. Like, we want you to stay here. And so I called their coaches. I was like, hey, like, I'm staying at Iowa. I'll just sacrifice whatever.
It must have been the one that they took away from Drake, and then they found it in 2019.
I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know.
They misplaced it in 17, and then
they found it in one of the lockers, and they're like, I guess we give it to Shudak.
Yeah, so I was like, I was like, as soon as KF called me and said that, I was like, all right, I'll stay, I guess.
And this is, and so then this turns to 2020, and then obviously 2020 happens.
Yep, hit COVID. And I'm just enjoying life, like playing, thinking I'm done with football here soon. Like, we're not playing in front of fans. I'm just balling out, getting my school paid for, getting checks every month. I live in the dream.
And you guys figure out that you get an extra year.
Oh, we didn't even talk about, like, so COVID happened that spring. So we didn't have
Yeah.
spring ball in 2020.
Yeah, there's no spring ball.
Dude, I'm telling you, the best time. Like, I'm on scholarship, the best time of my life. We talked about this in the car.
Yeah.
Remember,
This is what I wanted
to
to elaborate on. So
oh,
I asked,
man.
this is the first time, Drake, that I got to ask somebody who was there, like, yo, what was it like when shit shut down and you guys are just like basically no school? Like, so Shooty, you got to go into like how classes were, how football was, and how lax everything was.
Oh, like, let me just sit back for this. I'm 3 months of my life, hands down. Like, all right, so we're on spring break in Cancun, mid-March, and all this news is breaking out, like coronavirus, like, you might die, you can't fly, closing borders. We're just like, oh God, like we're gonna get stuck in Mexico. First great thing that could have happened would have been that. But no, so we get home, they close the borders like Sunday or something. We get home like Saturday, and I'm like, damn.
Ooh, cutting close.
Well, I think we were all okay with it because we were accepting like we already gotten told like, hey, we're not gonna have like football meetings and stuff next week. Like, you're good, like whatever. So we get back, they canceled everything, like starting, but like teachers don't know how to get all like this information. We went from like having tests and classes to a week off for spring break, and now they don't know how to do.
They had no idea how to convert their
on like such short. Like,
oh no, he's getting glitchy and dropping out. Someone's trying to like at the University of Iowa cut in on Shooty right now because his internet just went to shit. We've got you now. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So then teachers are trying to get that all set up. So like I'm having like half of the amount of classes a week, maybe like one, maybe two a day, very little, if any, homework, and tests that are pretty much like open note, like, hey, just show us you're like reading a little bit. And so that's going like
talk about the greatest time to be a college student of all time.
It gets better than that, let me tell you. So then Coach Doyle wants us to work out. So then we somehow get a rack, like an old rack from Iowa, put in our garage to lift, like our little teeny shack in our house. Like, come in, set it up, get some free weights, some kettlebells, a rack for 2.5, 3 months in our garage. And on top of that, so you guys have Black Card, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting, I think we got like $100 a week on Black Card this whole time. And I lived with 4 football players.
Fuck.
So I'm eating steak. We're smoking ribs. I mean, so here's the routine. So like with the classes being very little,
y'all were spending $400 a week on food.
Like, I mean, I'm talking eating steaks for breakfast, lunch, dinner, smoking ribs probably 3 or 4 times a week. And because like we just had to spend the money. Like we're just throw it in the freezer, freezing it. I mean, I spent the next 2 years eating it after that. Like we loaded up so much. But so then we like that whole probably those 2 months till like May-ish. Like we're waking up like 10 o'clock. You do like an hour of homework, whatever it is, whatever class for an hour. Go get a quick pump in the little gym area in our garage. We're whatever we can do. Get a workout in, do a little CrossFit workout, whatever it is. Come back inside. We're making steaks, smoking the ribs, whatever. Boom. You just start drinking. Like it's 1 o'clock. You just got done working out. You just made some steaks. Like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna drink. We're gonna play some video games,
dude.
So every week, like we're driving to Costco on like every Sunday. Each of us are getting like a bottle or two of the Kirkland vodka handles, and just setting up for the week. And like you do that till like midnight, whatever. Like not even late. Like we're just like doing it all day, just drinking out. We bought like a little kiddie pool for the front yard. Making margaritas. I don't even know. Like we were just doing whatever.
You were sitting and you were drinking margs in a kiddie pool out front of your house. Holy shit.
For months. I'm talking like this is like 7 or 8 weeks straight of this.
Oh my God.
And it's 7 days a week. It was great. Like couldn't go anywhere, couldn't talk to anybody, couldn't
Dude,
like
you drank so much.
It was awesome. I mean, I bet like 'cause I live with Sean Byer, Dallas Scobus, and Austin Spivak. I bet that you would tell you the same thing. Best 3 months of our lives. I mean,
I
would kill to live during that 2 or 3 month period again.
God, that's unbelievable.
Oh, I wish. I mean, if you guys could have experienced that, I think Drake would have had the time of his life.
Wasn't a big boozer. Didn't love the booze.
Yeah, we would have found plenty to get into though. I mean, it was, unreal. So then this
season gets canceled.
Well, the shit goes down in the summer.
Oh man, that was,
Doyle falls on the sword and all this shit goes down. And so then you guys deal with that. And then the season gets canceled. Oh, wait, it's back. You play 8 games.
Yep. Start out 0-2. We're like, this is pointless.
And Keith is the kicker.
Yep.
Has an okay year. It's not the Groza year that he had the year before. And it's not like he was going to win it anyway because, you're not going to win it with 8 games. The SEC played all their schedule, I think. So, but now you guys have the news that like, oh, you can take a COVID year.
Oh, and I'm sitting here thinking like, he's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take my chance. And I go, this is an easy decision. I'll be back.
And you finally, after eating carrot after carrot after carrot,
God just put it in my lap,
dude. And you're like,
I was there. I was like, because I finished my degrees. Like I was done with my undergrad, done with my master's. I was taking like yoga, money-wise, like a entry-level math class, like just to get my enough credits to be able to play.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking I took like relaxation techniques. I was just chilling that season, that 2021 season, because I was done.
You were relaxing. Fucking A. You are so 2020 ends up being your the COVID year with no fans and all that shit ends up being your 5th year because of a normal red shirt. Then you get the COVID year, and so you in 2021 after 5 years of just grinding,
turned 24 during the season,
and you get your shot, and you have a great year.
Yeah, I mean, I go in like I got nothing to lose. Like I have been through ups and downs. Like didn't think I was gonna get to this point. Like I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go get a job here in about 4 months. Like, why not just enjoy it? Like I get to be the guy. I get to like go out and be like, oh, you're the kicker. But like, yeah, it's me. Like I get to have my fun.
Yeah, how fulfilling was it to run out in front of fans after a year of no fans, your name on the back, and you're kicking the field goal in front of 70,000?
Oh, it was the best too because my first attempts was against Indiana right before half, and they called 3 timeouts. So I basically got 3 warm-ups in my first ever field goal attempt.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I'm sitting, people are like, that would be terrible. I go, dude, that was the most, like, I got so comfortable. Like, by that last kick, I was like, dude, I can close my eyes and this kick is going to go through.
Amazing.
And like, I think that set the table for like the season for me. Cause that was like, I actually got 2 free chances to like feel the atmosphere and like figure out how to control my heart rate. And, like,
I would always tell them when they try and ice, the specialists have such a limited time in between the white lines when it actually matters that the more time you gave us out there, the more we were actually able to settle in and like calm the heart rate down and just do the job.
Exactly.
And dude, icing kickers is so stupid. It's silly.
Yeah. So like looking back, it was just like, I mean, I couldn't be more grateful for how it worked out. Like I pretty much got a season just gifted in my lap. My first rep is I'm just gifted an opportunity to practice and like learn and figure it out before I actually have one that counts.
Dude, that's karma. Dude, that karma came back around. It was like, all right, fuck, this kid's still around after 6 years.
Can't kill him.
We're gonna give it to him,
I remember smiling before the last because their timeouts were up, and I'm sitting there thinking like, Ryan's talking to me, and I'm like, this is the most relaxed I've been kicking a field goal in my entire life. Like I was just so ready at that point. Like, oh gosh, I wish I could live that moment 100 times over.
Or that moment, or the moment where you were drinking margs in the kiddie pool.
Oh, that was the margs in the kiddie pool were great. I can't take that.
So you go through the year, you have a great year, and like, is the NFL even on your mind? Like, because at this point you're like, before you got to be the guy, and Keith says, no, I'm not taking the COVID year and all this shit. In your mind, you're like, well, there's no way I'm going to the NFL if I've never kicked field goals in college. Exactly. Now, all of a sudden, you get to be the guy. You have a pretty good year, and everyone's making their decision like, hey, it's time to train for pro day. And I'm sure in your eyes, you're just like, fuck it, keep the party going.
that's what I said. I'm on scholarships. So everything's paid for. I got nothing to lose. I'll have no problem getting a job after the season if that's just like what I want to do. And if I'm like, if things go well, I might get a chance to like go try out in the NFL and like tell my kids one day, hey, I got to try out. Like I wasn't bad. So I'm like, I got nothing to lose at it. Like this is a win-win scenario for me.
And you go through the process. You didn't get drafted, but you get picked up by the Titans.
Yep. Like I was getting calls from them, I think, during like the 5th and 6th round. Like, hey, we don't have any like late round picks, like, but we want you to come here.
Wow.
And so I ended up talking to I think I was talking to them, the Jets, and the Saints, like as the draft was finishing up, like, because then afterwards, like then you get like those like camp invites from like I got like I think it was the Texans or the Chiefs called like after I'd already signed with Tennessee, and like, hey, like,
my boy had action now.
So I go, yeah. So like they got to like, I mean, enough to where my agent could like even like negotiate a little bit of like guaranteed money. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, he's like, wait, actually guaranteed money? I go, dude, I play for free at this point. So whatever works, I want to go.
You're like, dude, I just paid for. I was about to start paying for grad applications. Any guaranteed money, yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, they want to offer you this much. And I go, I mean, where do I sign? When do I get to show up? So I'm like, any money is good money at all for me. I was just pumped to be there.
And you've been with them since.
Yeah. So
and they had Bullock, and Bullock was the guy in what would have then been 22 last year.
21, 22. I think he was there.
And then this last season, he was still the guy.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, this season ends, and my guy Randy got expensive. Yeah,
he had a nice second year part of his contract. Couple and a half mil, I think maybe.
And they said, sorry, bud. You're out. We've got little John Rahm here, and he's going to be our guy.
Yeah, I remember some people texting me like, hey, they just cut Randy. I go, no, they didn't. Then my agent called me. I was like, hey, dude, like, they just cut Randy. I was like, oh.
And you're sitting there going,
it's not BS. It's real.
You go from, dude, the whirlwind of before COVID hits of like, this is going to be my last year and I'm going to do the kickoffs and the NFL has no shot, to 2 years later, they're cutting a veteran for you to be the sole dude on the roster. Wow. What an elevation. Like, that is wild.
Like, I think they're bringing in, they just signed somebody, I believe, right after the draft to compete.
Yeah.
But it's like,
it's your job to lose.
That's the kind of attitude I'm going in with it. Like, I go out there compete, but like, I do my job. Like, any kicker should.
And so I've been waiting for this moment. I knew with Keith not being able to do kickoffs, it was going to be tough for him, even though he was so good in college. Miguel, I thought, should have had a shot at least somewhere. Marshall stuck with the Giants and was picked up, cut a couple times.
Like him and Mike Meyer
Meyer hung around with the Falcons for 6 fucking years, I think, on the practice squad. That's insane. We just haven't had a guy since Nate Stick. And dude, you're doing it.
Yeah, I just get OTAs and camp and just compete. Like, that's what I did.
Which is all you've done.
Like, it's just like I couldn't ask for like a better situation, like something to be psyched for, like the opportunity to play and be the guy.
It's compete is all you know how to do.
Exactly. I mean, people are like, oh, they're gonna bring somebody else in. Like, are you nervous about that? I'm like, I would hope they would. Like, I would say like the competition Keith and I had, iron sharpens iron. Like, that's like the truth. Like, I got better because of the competition. Like, it sucked at times, but so.
Dude, as a former guy in the room, I seriously could not be happier for you. And like,
big time pulling for the kid,
dude. I just want you to be the guy for the next 15 years. I want them to have.
That would be so delicious.
Oh my God, juicy.
Oh man, that's like that, like in the league at all. It's like, man, if you could just string together like 5 years of playing time,
that's
like you're just setting yourself up.
Pension.
Yeah,
you're setting yourself and your family up for like, I mean, you can do whatever you want when you're done.
That's all the motivation you need, dude.
Dude, it's just like if you can just get your foot in the door.
Unreal.
So
Dude, I'm so psyched.
Come
we have
here,
you can't see him, Caleb, but we got a producer on the back end of this thing. Our guy Grant. He's
Where's
a
he at?
current.
Did he quit?
No, he's still in here.
No, I'm here.
He's right here. We usually let him get some Make-A-Wish questions at the end of each podcast. So
it's fucked up, man.
You laughed. No, he's honestly fucking incredible. So incredible that we're taking him down to Nashville to tight end you.
So tomorrow,
Ooh.
when you go into work, Shooty, I want you to walk up to Frank the Tank and smack him on his ass and tell him that's from Drake, and I said I'm coming for him.
All right.
Yeah, because Drake used to roll with your strength coach.
And he texted me, asked me when I'm coming back to Nashville. So
soon,
dude, he is a legend. I love Frank.
I'm telling you right now, Frank wins a fight against any coach in the NFL. Period.
Just his demeanor, I would not fuck with him. Like
he is an absolute murderer.
He's
all
built.
Right,
he's built like a
totally
mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, Grant, you got any solid, really thought out theological questions here?
So I got two for you, Caleb. So first of all, I'm curious. So it seems like at a lot of other positions in the NFL, there's kind of like fraternities amongst positions. Like it seems like all the QBs know each other, all the tight ends know each other. Is that the same with kickers? Are you friends with any other guys across, or
like just being hurt last year for the most part? Like no, it's like once you like kind of like what it seems like once you play, like then you really it's kind of turns into that like fraternity. Like Morgan Cox, our long snapper, Kluver knows who he is. Goat of goats.
Goat.
And put that out there. He could like he knows everybody like personally pretty much in the league. He's like 37 years old. Like
side note, he's a fucking robot. The ball comes out of him like he's a gun machine.
Yeah, I mean, if he throws, Kluver knows. If he throws like an 11, it's like, hey, I mean, that was on me. I messed up.
He's
like,
a fucking alien.
Oh, but yeah, I think like once you like establish yourself as like a true like, hey, I'm on a 2 or 3 year contract starter. Like you just start to get to know these guys because you play some of them 2 times a year. But no, I haven't really got to that point yet. I mean, I know a couple guys just from pre-draft training and stuff, but other than that, not really.
Okay. And then with Randy, do his teammates ever call him Fat Randy, or is that just fans?
I think like close friends might like kind of put that in there, just like tease him about it. But no, otherwise that's just like a Twitter thing, and like I mean he's aware of it, but
that's what I figured. That's what I figured, but I had
like,
to ask.
Some of the other guys that are like friends with him would just kind of like tease him about it. But
my guy, Fat Randy, fat bank account Randy. How long was he in the league?
Last year was what, year 10 for him? He's probably banked like 12 mil, if I had to guess.
God,
dude, he's fine.
Yeah, he's
a legend. Like,
he needs to just. Is he still trying to kick, or did he retire?
No, I think he still is. Like
he needs to just hang it up and enjoy.
He's played for like, gosh, I want to say like 8 teams or something like that.
Tell Randy about your
legend.
semester where you were sitting in the kiddie pool drinking margaritas, and just tell him to go do that in retirement.
He could.
And he could get even fatter, Randy.
He's gritty and grindy. I'm talking like this dude plays like he played in the Giants one day. The next week he played the Giants for somebody else. The Giants were still paying him. Like
that's fucking hilarious.
This dude just bounced around, but I mean, when you put together 10 years, I can't imagine that pension.
Yeah, he's rolling in dough.
It's gonna be phenomenal.
Shooty, man. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so glad you gave us 75 minutes of your time. I
am honored to be on here. I'm looking forward to it.
That's a little much.
Can we like backtrack? I need to talk to you about Brady Ross squatting force. Like, is this legit? Is there like video?
Have you ever known? Have you ever known Brady Ross to lie about his strength because he just doesn't need to?
No, I don't know. I just like. I'm looking like we're talking almost 5 plates on the bar for 12 reps
in the front of him.
He was a little juicy fruit at the time, but
I mean, the dude could still move some weight, but
the thing is like
I'm still you
could put me on horse steroids, and I will never be able to front squat 475 for 1 rep.
Mm-hmm. I'll never be able to back squat 475 without my spine just collapsing.
Yeah, it's just so yeah, man. When we talk to these guys, we get cool clips. I'm sure our guy G-Bone will spin up a couple good clips of this podcast. You'll get to see yourself on the big screen. The
Looking forward to it,
dude.
That's awesome.
I don't have to tell you to fucking ball out and go compete, but you know what to do. I'm excited for the upcoming year for you, man.
No, I appreciate it, Clue.
I'm
Thanks,
gonna be
Drake.
real hyped to see you kicking in Nashville, pal. That's gonna
No,
be
I appreciate
phenomenal.
it. Yeah, Kluber said
yeah.
you're down here all the time working the tight end view. That's
I'll be
awesome. That's
down
awesome.
there June 15th. I get there, right? Yeah, June 15th.
All right at the end of OTAs. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's I mean, there's no way that the listeners did not enjoy that episode. So give us some feedback. Tell us your favorite part of Caleb's 12-year career at Iowa, and let us know about that in the Twitter and YouTube comments. And we hope you enjoyed listening to Shooty. Until next time, peace.
Peace.